everyone, my name is Luxeley, playing Revenant, and I'm looking at my intro there, and I just realized I deleted most of those characters. Why? Well, here's where things get really thick and stupid. I just deleted them and just decided I wanted to play a different race and re-experience the leveling experience, because I actually find leveling a lot of fun here, and the rewards are pretty good as far as getting keys and discovering new zones and getting little perks here, getting transmutes, etc., etc. So why not? Why not? What are your thoughts about that? Am I basically insane, or is it okay to do that? I got a Gimmo sapling tree. Chopping trees down to make some paper, which is an antiquated thing, but probably not antiquated in Guild Wars 2. Today I want to talk about raiding in Guild Wars 2. It's something I haven't done personally. I am not a raider. I really despise it, and I hate it for a lot of different reasons, which I don't want to get into. They're all personal. It's my opinion. It's a matter of chocolate versus vanilla, strawberry versus chocolate mint chip. It's what your preferences are. And I'll gladly talk to people about why I dislike it so much. In the comments, if you leave a comment and you want to know, I'll give you my list. But I can't be unfair with Guild Wars 2 because I haven't tried raiding in Guild Wars 2, which is what I want to solicit responses from you guys. What are your thoughts on raiding if you've raided so far? As far as the boss fights, as far as the lack of tanking, as far as the lack of healing, as far as the mechanics of the fights, as far as does it run smoothly? Is there lag associated because of all the animations going on? That probably more so depends on your settings, etc., etc. So I'm really curious to solicit these responses because I can't unfairly judge it. Like I said, I haven't tried it in Guild Wars 2. I've tried it in WoW. I have my reasons why I don't like it in WoW. But the fact that I'm not planning on raiding means that I'm not planning on generating all the mats and all the necessity, let's try the word necessary, grind, in order to build up and create your legendaries, because basically what I do is PvP, and the gear is normalized, so I don't necessarily need legendaries unless I want to go into world PvP, which is something I'd like to try, but the reality is I'm not going to be competitive not having ascended gear or legendary gear. So so what's going to happen is I'm going to go in there with decent gear, get my ass kicked, and then people are going to be like, "You suck!" Yeah, I suck because I have no gear. Which is not a problem in PvP. See how that all goes round and round and round. Goodbye, mister. Thanks for playing. I got this. Why is this person following me? You're invading my private space. Go away. Oh, there's two of them. That's one thing I've noticed. There's a lot of people out there in the world, meaning Tyria, questing, etc., etc. And that's a good thing, because that's something that's absent in World of Warcraft, which is where most of my experience comes from, playing the game 7.5 years. And quite honestly, Guild Wars 2 has piqued my interest more so than WoW right now. But the fact is, well, I don't want to talk about the PvP. I'm going to make a separate video about the PvP. And I'll get into detail, so stay tuned for that. I'm not sure when that's going to come. I was planning on making this video a long time ago, and I decided against it for various reasons. And if you want to know those reasons, I'll gladly go into them. Ask me in the comments, and I respond to comments, so if you want to know, I'll explain it. Because I also would like to solicit your opinions on PvP. Because when you guys give me feedback, it makes for a more in-depth video, a fuller video, more complete video going forward, because it's more knowledge. I want to accumulate knowledge from as many people as possible, so when I make a decision or I make a video, I have some depth and some, what's the word I'm looking for? No, not more will come. That's not the word I'm looking for. The word I'm looking for is more depth and just a fuller opinion. Something that covers all different angles, covers a lot of different people. I have a journalist mentality when I approach YouTube, and I try not to be biased. I try to be fair, and I try to point out both sides of the argument. Sometimes I'll tell you what my thoughts are. Sometimes I won't. That's just the way I try to do things. As opposed to being completely biased and saying, "Oh, rating sucks." No, I mean, I haven't literally tried it. Compared to how it was in WoW, no, I don't like it. I don't like the gear grind. I don't like the RNG. Now I'm going into reasons, but let's focus on the task at hand. We have a lot of spike traps to take out. Just disarm it. There you go.
Population me.
Population me. That's kind of sounds a bit egocentric. Let's see what we get. We get 1 silver and 1 copper and 202 karma, which is basically useless. Although there are ways that you can generate gold from karma. For example, this is a little tip. Some of you veterans probably know this already. Some of you new players don't. Any test that you complete is a karma vendor where you could buy various gear. Now, most of this gear is gear that you're going to use while you level up, which really you don't necessarily need because you're constantly... It's not the gear you're going to have at max level. It's not the gear that you want to have. So, yeah, if you want to throw some karma in a direction to upgrade pieces so you're a little bit more competitive as you're leveling, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is, it shouldn't necessarily be a priority because you're going to be constantly changing the gear. And what you could do with the karma is you can buy a ton of pieces and bring it to the Mystic Forge, and 4 of the same pieces in the Mystic Forge, and it'll give you a upgraded piece, which chances are you're not going to need. Maybe you do, maybe you unlock a piece, but the fact is, what you're going to do is then scavenge it, and you're going to create and give yourself mats. Now, I've noticed the mats that are generated from cloth pieces tend to be sold for a lot more gold, a lot more silver. It's not a great way to make gold, but it is a little extra way to make gold if you're not into buying yourself gear. Of course, when you get to the max level content, there are vendors that sell some pretty cool looking armor sets that you could buy with karma. You could even buy introductory type of weapons for your characters that you could also use as transmute gear. So there's a lot that you could do with it. I shouldn't say it's as totally useless, but if you want to generate gold from it, that's a good way to do so. Right, Mr. Worm? What are your thoughts on this? He doesn't have any thoughts. He doesn't have any life. Nice cornfields. Let's see. What is that, a mosquito? That's a huge mosquito, man. Or a wasp. Imagine a wasp that big in real life. Oh my god. I would be scared. You know, some people are scared of spiders. I'm scared of like flying things like that. I hate those things. I don't know. They drive. Now, if you want to talk about wasps that are that big or bees that are that big, probably more like mosquitoes that are that big, go to Buffalo. Buffalo is a great city to leave. Trust me on this. Of course, it's been a long time since I've been there. Maybe it's improved. But I went there many years ago when I was training for a company because their headquarters were there. Why? I have no idea. But 1/3 of this goes back about solid 15 years ago, and 1/3 of the city was literally vacant. You had 2 types of architecture. You had architecture from like the 1930s and 40s, and then you had a couple of sporadic modern buildings around. That was it. It was like anything between like 1930 and 1990 or 95 was just non-existent. They just didn't build anything. And 1/3 of the city is vacant, and it's right off of the lake, so you get all these kinds of huge mosquitoes. I mean, these things were almost the size of birds, and I'm not exaggerating on that. It's pretty crazy. So if you're from Buffalo, I do apologize. I'm sure it's a beautiful area in the suburbs, but the city itself, I mean, I'm judging from when I've seen it many years ago, and to my experience, it hasn't changed. Like I said, to summarize my travel opinion of Buffalo, it's a great place to leave. Again, with the Lissa confounds me. Got this thing whispering in my ear wherever I go. Lissa confound you. Lissa confound you. So that's a nice little, what is this place? A quarry, I believe? I don't know what it is. Okay, well, we're moving along back into the swampy swamps. Copper ore. Copper whore. I almost said that. Oh no. There we go. Gonna head over to these creatures over here. There's a hero point we're gonna hook up with. It's always a good idea. That's another reason why I like level. I don't know. I like leveling in this game. Maybe it's just because the whole world is at your fingertips in the sense that your level is adjusted. And I believe that Guild Wars 2 was the first, or ArenaNet was the first to introduce this concept. And that's something that you could always tell about MMOs. If other MMOs are imitating what you're doing something right. If other MMOs are not imitating what you're doing, chances are you're doing something wrong. And other MMOs have imitated this technology, so it definitely makes sense. I love that idea of leveling down. Now, World of Warcraft is going to be implementing this in Legion, but just in the max level territory because they want to see how it works out. That's kind of like Blizzard's mentality, which makes a lot of sense actually, is that they want to test things or new things in small areas, so this way if it blows up and it doesn't work, even if it goes through the PTR and the beta, etc., that doesn't always iron out the bugs. It never does. So, or at least all the bugs. So there's going to be bugs. They anticipate that. They already know that. So they don't want to implement this feature throughout the entire World of Warcraft and then have some issues with it, because then they're going to have issues with everything in the world. So if they centralize it to one location, it makes a lot of sense to do that with a new feature like that. Or at least it's new to World of Warcraft. Of course, Guild Wars 2 figured this stuff out 3-4 years ago, probably almost close to 4 years ago now. So that shows you how far ahead ArenaNet is compared to Blizzard. I gotta kill this dude. Or this dudette, I should say. No, forget it. We'll just move on. Great music in the game, too. I love the music in the game. I guess initially it took me a while to get used to, because I also like the music in World of Warcraft quite a bit. But I think overall, I have yet to find any music that I don't like in the game, as opposed to World of Warcraft. Some zones I really just don't like the music, but that's more the exception than the norm. But here, at the very least, as a whole, I mean, I can't think of one particular piece that I don't like. It's pretty cool. But what I was saying is, Blizzard seems to be behind a curve when it comes to innovation, and that is a very fair assessment. So when people complain about ArenaNet, now let me tell you, ArenaNet is not without its faults and not without its problems. But compared to Blizzard, let me tell you, like a lot of Guild Wars 2 fans were complaining that new fans in the game, because they were getting the initial game for free, that they were getting something for free that other people paid for. Well, that's been a reality with Blizzard for many years. And the players have just accepted that. So it's just kind of what the game culture finds acceptable and not acceptable. And right now, Guild Wars 2 gets pissed off. A lot of the players get pissed off at ArenaNet for giving stuff away that they had to pay for, but that's a reality in most other games. And ArenaNet does seem to be, oh no, I got to fight to survive, and I'm not going to survive. Oh no, I thought that was a veteran. No, it's just a regular mob. I'll get out of this. Don't worry about it. If I don't, you could always come to my funeral. There we go. We're back in it. So, yeah, a lot of people were just very upset about ArenaNet and what they did, and that's something that Blizzard's been doing for years, and many other MMOs have been doing for years. And ArenaNet does seem to be attentive to things. They might not get on them right away, they might not fix them right away, but they are most definitely trying. Fight to survive again. Oh, we got this. Don't worry about it. I'm going to wrap it up here. We gained a level. We're moving along. All better. If only what? Always wonder what they mean when they say if only and then they die. This is Luxley saying, whatever it is by you, morning, afternoon, night, make it epic. Luxley out.